Roditeli, yeah, man, you rock.
Oh, boom, boom. Well, what's up, everyone? It's your boy Tyler. Welcome to another episode of Draw and Talk. I got an awesome guest on here today. His name's Kevin Roditeli. I look up to him as a comic book creator. He just had a super successful Kickstarter, Glaxial #1. I think he had over 500 backers. That's freaking amazing. Kevin, thanks for being on the show.
Yep, right now in the bed just for you.
So yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask Kevin, because we're gonna talk about making comics from the beginning to end. So real quick, Kevin, though, maybe in like 2 minutes or so, tell us how you got into comics and what made you want to make comics.
I was not a comic book guy, honestly, since like the release of Watchmen, the movie by Zack Snyder. Before that, comics for me was just superhero stuff and for kids. And Watchmen, the movie, did really show me that comic book is more than just Spider-Man saving cat in a tree, you know. So, so now when I saw this movie, I did really go into comic book, and I did buy Watchmen, a graphic novel, and discover Alan Moore work, and I was like, damn, this is fucking deep. We can make deep stuff with comics, not just with movies. So after I did go, I make some research. I did go into the Garth Ennis stuff. I love Garth Ennis too. And I did go into it more and more and more. And a year after, I did invest in a comic book store, and I became co-owner of the comic book store as a retailer, because I'm a businessman, and I did have like a couple of business. I've been on like that all my life. And so I did go into comics with that. So I've been a retailer for a year, and after a year, I decided to stop being a retailer to focus on publishing book. I've been publishing book for a year, and I stopped publishing, and now I'm creating comic books since a year. So I did like a year of each thing you can do in comics, I guess, and now I'm creating.
It's freaking awesome that you told me that that this is what you're doing full time, is making comic books. That's probably a dream for so many people.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So today we're going to be talking about, guys, we're not going to be talking about how to get that as your career, but the first thing before you can make that a career is you have to start making comic books. So maybe, from my experience, whenever I've had a comic book, I will, since I'm a writer and artist, typically if I have an idea, I can write out my script and then I can do the art myself and self-publish it. I have gone the route a few times where I've paid an artist to do my work, and you as a writer have done that as well. Maybe Kevin, can you tell us, your process after you've written your script? How do you get an artist to work with you, and then where do you go from there once you begin working with the artist?
The first thing I do is actually go to a comic book store for a week. Actually, each Wednesday for a month, I will go to comic book store. I will look into the preview, what's going on in the industry at the moment I'm creating my book, just to know where are the standard of the industry and what are the trend, to be sure that I'm on it actually with my script. Am I doing something that won't have any readers because I'm really off the trend right now? So what I do is I do my script following what I does, and the EP I'm developing. I always develop my EP before I'm in the script, just to be sure that the EP fit what the industry wants right now. So I do a lot of studying, but I'm a math guy. I've always been like that, like trying to make a big process of numbers in my head that doesn't make sense, but I need, because I'm a freak. So I do it. And it's something I think is really interesting and really important to our artists, is to study the market before doing a book, because it's a lot of investment. For example, for me with Glacial #1, the creative team, Rob Cannon, with all the lettering, the art, the coloring, and etc., it cost me 5,000 USD. So an issue can be expensive depending on what you're looking for. So it's really important to study the market and understand that you will have readership or not, because there is stuff that can be really, really good, but it's impossible to sell. You really need to know. It's sure that you want to make something that gonna make money for sure, because it's costs you money to make a book. So it's really important to study the market at first. I think this is something that a lot of creators doesn't talk about. It's just like, you need to do it, but before doing it, study the market and understand in what you're gonna play actually.
No, one thing I like what you said is you need to first understand. I like to actually two things. I want to bring them up real quick. Is that you first need to understand your market. I know a lot of people are like, this is my book. This is my book.
Yeah.
Why aren't people liking it? But the market, you have to understand what people are liking right now. And if you're making a book that you think is cool, maybe a few of your friends are saying it's cool. Is it cool though for making money, which is the second thing I liked what you said. And I try to say it on this channel a bunch, and I'm glad I had someone else finally say it. You want to make money ultimately. Like, we love making comic books. They're passion projects. They're super fun. But at the end of the day, we need to make money. If you want to do this as a career, you need to make money. And you can't make a product that people don't like and get money. It's not possible.
Yeah, and something that is really important to understand, it is that maybe your story, maybe if you wait 5 years, 3 years, or 2 years, that story that you have in mind will be good at that time and will work commercially at the time. It's really important to study your idea, that maybe that idea I need to wait, or maybe that idea is now. For me, like Glass Show, I knew that the timing was good because the new Fallout game was just announced. There was a big hype for the new Fallout game, and it's going to be released at the same time as my issue #1. So I'm following the trend of the big franchise. I have idea that I had in mind for years, but I know that, okay, this one need to wait 5 more years because we are not there at the moment. We've been there 15 years ago, but everything is circular, like in mode, actually, when you were in clothing and stuff like that. In music, there is trend and come back, and the same thing for comics. Just wait for the trend. As a creator, I know it could be frustrating if you have an idea that you really want to push right now, but I think it's important to study market and know when you need to release that thing or not.
So yeah, guys, really. So yeah, I just want to recap that one more time, everyone. If you want to make money, you got to go where the market is going right now. And I think what you did was a freaking, awesome job. And I think now it makes me think about my Kickstarter that I'm doing right now for Demons. We're 92% funded. It's a super small goal though. And I haven't, it's October. It's a horror book. I should really market it towards it. Hey, it's October. Get your horror book. I think I need to do better on my marketing. So that's something that I've learned already from today. So I guess next question is, once you've figured out what the market's looking for, once you've created your story and you've said you found an artist that the team was going to cost you $5,000. Did you have to raise that money up front first? Or did you use Kickstarter for most of that funding?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I did bring the money before the Kickstarter to the team. Actually, everyone was paid. The book was nearly completely done. So the Kickstarter was a pre-order. I see my Kickstarter as a pre-order. Actually, I already did my investment. I take the risk of it, and the Kickstarter is a pre-order. I think it's really important now that creators see Kickstarter as a pre-order and not a donation platform, because readership are expecting to have a book couple of months maximum after they finance the project. I've seen horror stories of book that come out like 2-3 years after, because on the Kickstarter they were 3 pages of second shot are done, and they were actually the only pages done. And it's really frustrating for backers, because they are expecting to read something from you, and they are probably your first reader that you will have in your career. So if you start with a bad relationship with them, it's actually a pretty bad start for your career.
And it's so true. Like, there's be nothing. I've backed Kickstarters, I backed a Kickstarter 3 years ago, and for a comic book, and I still haven't got it. And because of that, it made me feel like, oh, I don't want to use this platform. This is my very first time using Kickstarter. And it's because I felt, and I was scared to ever help other people with Kickstarters, because I felt, oh, their book isn't finished. And I agree, we shouldn't use Kickstarter as a donation platform. We should use it as a pre-order. I'm trying to do the same thing. My book is 122 pages. It's already complete. I took the financial risk, and I think we as creators also need to make that financial risk. And if we really believe in our project, we will take that financial risk if we know it's going to get funded.
Yeah, you need, if you don't take the risk to complete your book, it means that you don't have the confidence in your project. So why are you going to sell it to people? You don't have the power. You feel when a creator doesn't have the confidence in his project. If someone that goes with a goal of, I don't know, $50 for a book that is not finished or anything, you cannot rush on it. You cannot, if a creator doesn't believe it, we feel it through a campaign, we feel it through the product. It doesn't work. As a customer, would you back something that you don't feel the passion through it?
No, that's super. That's so true. That's so true. So I guess maybe I want to rewind real quick. So you have the money saved up for your creative team. How did you find your creative team? I know there's a lot of writers. They'll either send me a message on YouTube or Twitter, and they'll be like, "Hey, I can't find an artist. I can't find a letterer." And I tell them, go on Facebook, go on Twitter, you'll go on Instagram, you'll find someone. How did you find your creative team?
For that, actually, it was pretty easy because Rob Cannon, we've been partner in crime for comics since like 2016. We started a publishing house together back then. It was Racing Cross Publishing, and we did sell it last year. So we were already connected. But what I say to artists or creators, writers that want to start to make comics, I say it's pretty easy. Go in Facebook group and say, I'm looking for an artist. Here's my budget, or doesn't talk about budget if you really want to see different artists and maybe play with the budget. But just say, hey, I want to create a comic book. Here's like 3 sentences of synopsis. This is my project. Who is in? Let's do it. Simple like that. Facebook group, I think, is the best place to find artists. There is so much talent to this group, and you can find a good variety of artists. It's fucking crazy.
And I think also, like, you should know what your story is and where it's going before you approach the artist. Yeah, like you said, give them a synopsis, let them know what you have. Let them know what you have planned for the book, and show them the passion that you have for this story. And if you show them this passion, they'll feel that passion, and they'll either want to work with you. Maybe they'll give you a little discount. Maybe they'll help you along the way. Like, hey, I'll do a page or 2 for free. I know that I've done projects where I've done the first 2 pages for free because I was like, wow, this writer's story is so good. Let me, help them kick this off a little bit. It's a risk for me as an artist doing that, but I could really tell by the writer's, passion that this was going to be a good project.
Yeah, but like I say oftenly to other creators that ask me questions, I say, don't forget you are an entrepreneur. Like every artist, every writer, you are an entrepreneur first. Today, we are all freelancers. We are all people trying to reach a dream, I guess. We are all entrepreneurs. You're all your business. So take risk, like any other entrepreneur. Or if not, just draw in your room and share it with your mother, I guess.
That I agree. You need to be an entrepreneur. I know a lot of people are like, well, this isn't a business. I'm not trying to, no, you're trying to sell yourself. I mean, I was at a store signing with 3 other creators, and they were all looking at me like, Tyler, how come you're making your books? How come you're making money off of your books? I'm like, you guys are just sitting here. Like, a person would walk past their table and they would be like, hi. And then the person would walk past and to the next person and be like, hi. And I'd be like, hey, what's up? Like, let's talk. Let me tell you about my story. And I would just like reel them in. And then, through that, you make money. You need to be a business person. If you want to make successful comics and make money off of it, you need to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have someone asking a question. This is from Britain. He wants to ask you, Kevin, how do you convince others in your life that you're not getting scammed when you're paying an artist?
Man, it's all about the feeling, I guess. You can make some research. I'm someone that trusts everyone. Okay, I'm the kind of guy that, like, you will say, "Oh, this is good cocaine." I was like, "Okay, this is good cocaine, right?" I trust everyone. Maybe that question is not to the right guy, but I would say go with the feeling and go with your art. If you feel that you love what you see, go for it, and probably nothing bad will happen.
And if you do feel, Burton, like you're getting scammed from your artist, be a little stricter with them. Contract. yeah, have a contract. Don't pay them until you get the page sent to you. Don't pay them until you actually get, that artwork sent to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or 50-50. What you can do too is pay 50 before and 50 after, something like that.
yeah. I've done those as well, and yeah, just if, it's all about the feeling. If you're feeling that this person's shady, you should go away. Oh, he has something to say back to you, Ken. He says, "My parents are convinced that people are trying to scam me, and some have, but there's an artist that I'm working with, and I do trust him." Okay, so probably
Okay,
parents are.
I have one advice for you, man. Don't listen to your parents and have fun. This is something I understand in life. You always have fun. You have one life to live, and it is your life, dude. It's not the life of your parent or your friend. So have fun.
Boom, have fun. So once you have an artist, once
Mhm.
you found your artist, what is the relationship that you typically have with your artist? When I work with someone, the writer is really nice to me. We become friends. I get their phone numbers. We text each other. And then typically they give me a lot of freedom. What about with you? What's your kind of relationship with the people that you collaborate with normally?
It's always different. It's sure with Rob Cannon, we were already friend, the artist of Glacial, so it's pretty easy. You know, we chat and we do some videos like that, and we have fun together. So it's a really easy communication. But I have other artists that it is just work, and it's fine like that. You know, you can have a connection, a work connection, but not really have a friendship connection with someone. It's work really well. So I think the most important thing is actually to adapt your way of working with the other person, with the artist. So, for example, I work with Rob, and Rob loved the script to be written with panels and panel description and stuff like that. I work with another artist that just want a page description and deal with the panels, and I'm like, fine, dude. I want the artist to be comfortable. This is something real important. If you want your artist to be at 100% of his potential, it's really important to give him the biggest freedom you can give him, I think.
No, I totally agree. And if there are certain specific scenes that you really want to look a certain way, tell your artist, hey, listen, I really want to look like this, and
Yeah.
most of the time they'll be like, yeah, no problem. So now once you've worked with your artist, you've gotten the pages, you're now putting them into a book. What's the next step for you now that you have this completed comic book? What is the next step that you take and you think other creators need to start doing?
After the comic book done,
Yeah, once the comic book is completely done.
it's depend of what direction you want. For example, if you are a self-publisher, I think that you need to be on the number two right now. Not wait like a year or 6 months or something, like take a break and go on vacation with your margarita at the beach or something like that. Do your fucking book, because audience with the system of diamond in the comic book store, they have the now, because they get their book monthly like that, one each month. They got like that kind of routine that they want the book now. So it's really important for you to deliver your book as fast as possible, because the audience, because of the market, want the book now. So you really need to make it fast if you want to stay in their pull list, I guess, or the book they want to read. So it's really important to go fast. If your goal is to go with a publisher, I think as when you have finished the book, the first issue after the Kickstarter, pitch it around and try, and don't wait. Pitch it the day it's finished. Pitch it around, because if there is no one that's gonna pick up, or no one that you want to work with, it's really important to make your Kickstarter as soon as possible for the number two if you're gonna self publish it after, and not wait like 6 months or a year, because you're waiting that Image Comics say, yes, we want you, but dude, be our friend. No, okay, if there is 6 months done, is because they don't want you. It's fine. Rejection is great, man. Take rejection and be stronger and learn from it. So if you got rejection, take it and go stronger on a number two, go stronger on a number three, and next series, go back to them and say, dude, I have 25,000 followers now. I got I got a golden retriever, fucking big ass pizza in the fridge because I'm fucking rich from comics. So take me in your publishing line. So yeah, just be stronger when you get a rejection, and go fast as fast as you can, And something important too, I think that you need to focus on one thing at once. There is a lot of creators that just have like 15 series at the same time. It's crazy. You rock, but I don't think it's the way to work because your readership can follow what you're fucking doing actually because you got too much stuff on the table. So for me, for example, I'm gonna stick to Glass Show until I have finished a series, and I won't do a second one. Or if I do a second one, will be by the end of the series. That if all my readers know I'm doing that Ice Age thing, you know. So it's
So
really
how
important
many
to stick what you're doing.
so how many issues do you plan on? How many issues do you have planned for Glaxial, and how many issues do you think you're going to produce a year?
So we plan to do a minimum of 5, but we want to do it ongoing. But it's crazy. It's a crazy idea. I'm like that. I always have crazy idea. I'm like, woo, let's do it, dude. So so I will go with the first one when we finish the issue because there is like 2 pages to do because I did get really anxious the last month. I was like, oh man, I got too much person that want to read this, so this need to be better. So I just like rewrite some dialogue so that the delay of production is kind of longer than we should have delivered the book before. But anyway, so after the book gonna be complete, we're gonna pitch it around to some publisher I want to work with. If the publisher want it, we're gonna pitch them a first volume of 5 issues and a possibility of more if they want more, and if the success is there for sure. I won't make a series that I'm losing money each issue, so I'm gonna make it until I'm break even. Actually, the minimum I'm gonna do for it. I'm not crazy, so I want to do Glacial because I have fun doing it. So I want to work on that series until there is money to make with it, you know, until I can still live on it and put at least one apple in my fridge to eat.
And would you ever if this is another question that was given by Britain, would you ever want to work on any project for the big two, Marvel and DC?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, what character from Marvel and what character from DC would you most likely want to take?
Honestly, I'm not a really versatile writer, so I don't think I could write every character. I have my style, and I'm fine with that. So I guess the 2 characters from Marvel will be like Punisher or Moon Knight. This is the two I'm like, fuck yeah, maybe Blade too. I know they don't really make series for Blade, but I will do Blade for sure. DC, I love Booster Gold. Booster Gold, I could make it, I think. And a good Batman or Joker stories too. I could be pretty good. All the dark stuff or the weird stuff, I could be pretty good, I think.
You know what's funny
But
is those 2 Marvel books are the exact ones that I would want to take is Punisher and Moon Knight because yeah, they're
yeah,
they're
but
dark, they're gritty.
and I think they are the most indie characters from Marvel in some way.
Here's a question from Christopher Kronk. Have you guys worked with Create Space? Seems easier than finding a publisher and whatnot. I don't know what Create Space is. Do you know what it is?
I know by name, but I don't really know what it is. Honestly, I don't know.
It's a okay. It's a you can manage your. It's a looks like it's a publishing site, and you can like manage like you can do like get it on Amazon, Kindles. Oh, it looks like it's for Amazon. It's their Amazon.
Okay, yeah,
like,
I know what.
publishing.
It's their print on demand service, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I did not. I did not. But I think the best thing to do is depend on your project and depend on who you are. If you are someone that has a facility to promote yourself, you can do a living actually to be self-publishing. I know a lot of self-publishers that make more money than someone working with publishers. Actually, publishers is a weird distribution, so it's really depend of your strategy actually as a creator.
Yeah, no, I agree. And if you can, the nice thing about living in 2018 is that you don't exactly have to go through a publisher. If you have a big enough fan base and you're able that you've created on your own, and if you're able to crank out projects that get bought by those fans, you could just live off that money, and you don't need a publisher.
Yeah, look at those guys on Patreon. It's crazy, man. There is dudes that are making web comics like four balloon sketch, like four panel comic book each week, like 4 panel each week, and they make like 10,000 a week. And I'm like, wow, dude, I want to be you. It's crazy. It's insane. And I study these guys because they understand the market and they understand what they are doing. It's fascinating, to see those guys making a living from such a small amount of work. I don't say that it's not great. It is great, but it's crazy that you can make a lot of money and even more than people working at a big two. Big two is not the biggest thing ever you can make in a comic book career. You can be way bigger than anyone making book at Marvel. I know people at Marvel having 2,000 followers maximum. And I know guys making web comics that actually have 100,000 followers. It doesn't mean you are a Marvel and DC that you are bigger than anyone.
No, it's true. Yeah, and that's the thing. I just found out about Patreon a month ago, and I was looking at these web comics, and I'm like, you have 10,000 people every month who pay you, and even if it was just $1, even if it was if all 10,000 of those people gave you $1, that's still $10,000 a month.
Yeah, you're the Dan Bilzerian of comics.
It's yeah, exactly. It's absolutely crazy. So yeah, guys, once you finish your book, you don't just sit on it. Start, getting it out there. Like Kevin said, first shop it off to publishers. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know if I should. No, you never know. That's the nice thing, is you just never know. So, ship it off to publishers. There's nothing wrong with rejection. I've been rejected so many times, and it just makes you make the project, the next one, that much better. And then there's always a self-publishing route. Kevin, I have some questions for you.
Go.
This from Tank Barrett. What's your favorite indie comic?
My favorite indie comics. Man, it's so hard because I I read so much of them, and I'm kind of a reader. I'm a really bad reader, honestly. I'm kind of a reader to pick up the number one and forget that there is a series going on. So I have like a collection of number one in my house. Same thing at a comic book shop. I'm like, I gotta take number one, and I never come back for the others because I'm so messy. But a series that I never stop reading and I always pick all the issues is Judge Dredd. Everything Judge Dredd, I take it. I'm a big fan of the character in the universe. So I take 2000 Heidi stuff and even the IDW series. I'm a fanboy of Cal Urban and his chin.
Yeah. And then are there currently any Kickstarters or I'll just throw out Indiegogos that are grabbing your interest besides Demons, which is 92% funded?
Damn, I was going to make that
joke. No, but yeah, are there any like Indiegogos or Kickstarters that are, grabbing your interest?
Oh, I don't know, man. Honestly, I've been like moving for 2 weeks now. So I've been crazy moving to a city and another, traveling and stuff like that. So I did not really have time to go on Kickstarter. So it's probably the worst time in my life to ask me about a project on Kickstarter. So I'm gonna say Damon by you.
Boom.
It's fucking crazy. Go back this Kickstarter. There is badass shit happening in that book, and everyone want to see badass shit. So get that book.
So, for people who are wanting to create a Kickstarter, what do you think is a big thing that they need to do to get their book funded? I've seen a lot of people, try to get their books funded. They fail. Maybe their goal was too high. Even some of their smaller goals, like books that are like 500, they still don't get even funded. Is it based off the page? Is it based off their marketing strategies? What do you think is something that creators are not doing when they're marketing their books?
It's everything or nearly everything is in the pre-campaign. What you're gonna do before the campaign launch. So there is so much creator that just like make 1 or 2 posts before the Kickstarter, like 2 days before. Hey, I'm gonna have a book and I want $10,000, dude. Can you help me? Dude, I doesn't have the budget, but if I knew it like 3 months before, probably that my pocket I would have something for you. But so it's really important that it takes months and months before to say to your audience, like, I have a book coming up. So this month, give less money to Mike Mignola and give it more to me. So it's really important to say to your audience that you got something coming up. just tell them before that I got a book coming up. And after that, this is a big part. And of course, there is another big part. It's to build a good looking page on Kickstarter. If you got like only text and no sequential pages, dude, you're selling a comic book, not a fucking Harry Potter novel. So it's really important to have pages and pages of your book, show what reader gonna get. It's really important, and of course, have a Kickstarter presentation that is really easy to read with kind of chapter like this is the reware, this is the story, this is the synopsis, and just go down, scroll, and you're gonna find everything you need to understand what you are putting your money on. So it's really important. So I think the most important thing is first of all the pre-campaign, just like let know everyone you know that you got a book coming up, and after, of course, having a good looking page that everyone that's gonna discover you on Kickstarter gonna understand your product. It's really important because honestly, something I love about Kickstarter, even more than making money on it, or it's you're gonna be discovered by so much new readers on the platform. It's crazy, you know. There is people that you never heard of that you're gonna see in your backer list giving you hundreds of dollars. It's insane. You're gonna have new supporters, so take time to make a good presentation to be sure that they're gonna come to you and you could hug them with pleasure.
Boom. I guess one final question before we wrap this up. It's been a really good show, and I hope you guys learned some crap because I freaking did. Kevin, what is it? What is some final advice you can give to a new creator who's wanting to either write comics? Yeah, to write comics. What's some grandpa advice you can give them from your experience?
I'm a young grandpa, but yeah. But my best advice I can do is actually listen to no one that are not into comics. So if your mom say don't do that, you're gonna lose money, don't listen to her. This is the best advice I can give. But honestly, if there is something that you need to do when you're gonna make a comics, is actually just doing it and doing your way. Don't try to be Frank Miller. Don't try to be Jim Lee. Don't try to be someone you're not. Be yourself. Find your style. Take the time to find your style, because there is so much creator just trying to be someone else. You know, it's if it takes you 10 years to understand who you are in the comic book scene, take that 10 years to understand who you are and do it your way. Do it your way. I think this is the best advice I can give. Okay, I found the words that I want to say, the sentence that I want to say. Do it your fucking way.
Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Everyone, Kevin, where can we find you on Instagram and Twitter? What is your handle?
I think it's Kevin Roditeli. Boom. Simple like that.
Just at Kevin Roditeli?
Yeah.
Awesome. Everyone, go follow him on social media. Thanks so much for being on the show. If you have time, please check out my Kickstarter in the link in the description. We're 92% funded. We'll love to get 100% funded by the end of the freaking week. And then you will get this 122-page graphic novel to you before Christmas. So everyone,
boom. Marketing.
Kevin.
Boom, boom, boom. This guy is in fire.
Peace out, everyone.